This is the state of Washington versus John Kevlin.
When former Bellevue police officer John Kevlin appeared in court last month, it may have been for crimes he didn't commit. He was accused of violating a protection order and tampering with a witness.
And I'm prepared today to enter a plea of not guilty. Pleas of not guilty.
The allegations against him are all related to the same woman who he met on Craigslist. Their extramarital affair allegedly spiraled into domestic violence, protection orders, and led to the end of his career with Bellevue police. But new court documents filed Monday show prosecutors are dropping 3 of the 7 charges against him. They had to do with his most recent arrest. The woman had accused Kevlin of texting her 13 times, violating a no-contact order. But now, in their latest court filing, prosecutors admit the state conducted a search of the defendant's phone and reviewed the billing records and determined that the account set forth is inaccurate. Asked for more explanation, a spokesperson for the prosecutor's office would only say that they, quote, reevaluated the strength of the evidence and decided not to move forward. Kevlin walked out of jail Tuesday night. He still faces 4 charges, including domestic violence assault. Alyssa Hahn, King 5 News.
Now, sources tell King 5 the same woman has leveled allegations of sexual assault against 2 other members of the Bellevue Police Department, who she also claims to have met online, including the chief, Steve Milet. Milet has been on paid leave while Bothell police investigate the criminal case against him. When asked if these new developments will impact their investigation, the department declined to comment.